Rube.
Yeah, terribly. Did you assess?
I did, of course. You guys are an easy to miss crew.
Video. So what do you got for us today, Chase?
I don't know. What do you have for me? Is that usually how this goes?
What kind of strides did you see the offense take this fall?
I knew that was going to be asked. Yeah. I was one step ahead of you. The offensive line definitely took a lot of strides this fall camp. And I know this picture is going to be me with my mouth open like this.
I'll get rid of the
no, I know how this works. Okay. The offensive line has taken a lot of strides this fall. They've really come along, and definitely led by I think Ben Bredesen and company, but they've really taken that next step. So.
What stands out most? Harbaugh was saying with Shea's focus. That's kind of what stands out most about him. What was your initial impression when you got here? What has kind of developed? Your thoughts since he's been here.
Yeah, people sometimes make fun of me because I'm like, I see him out of practice and it's just amazing some of the stuff he does and he has like this sense of like quiet confidence. He's not the type of guy that's gonna run around and he does that too, but he's not like that's just in my opinion just not really him. But he does have this sense of he knows he can play football, and he knows he's the man in charge of this offense, and I'm excited for the opportunity he's going to get on Saturday, and so.
I'm gonna say he's a risk taker. Would you characterize him that way? And did you guys get some turnovers this fall?
You mean do our defense get turnovers? Yeah. That's a tough question. I'm going to just say. Our defense always gets turnovers, no matter who's at quarterback. So.
Chase, when we talked to you in Chicago, you said last year around this time you had some concerns about the offense, right? So everything wasn't settled yet. Or do you have concerns as you're going right now?
I actually don't have that many concerns. Obviously, there's a lot of this, until you actually see it in person, in flesh this Saturday against Notre Dame. But a lot of those concerns have kind of been squished out, in terms of like personnel and just like play calling and everything. I think it's looking pretty solid. So I'm excited for that opportunity. So.
What sort of a message does it send about the season if this group's able to go into South Bend and win?
It answers a lot of questions about our program. I think it's no surprise that we haven't been very good on the road the past couple of years, and playing against the 12th ranked team, I think they are. That if we can go into, Notre Dame of all places, in first game of the year, and set the season off on that note, I think it says a lot about the trajectory of our season.
The road streak drought, the Big Ten title drought, things like that. You guys hear about, motivated by, I assume, or how much is that discussed?
It's not really discussed that much. No one really talks about the lack of Big Ten championships or Rose Bowl droughts, and it's just not really mentioned. For us, it's really all the focus has been on Notre Dame and trying to beat those guys. They're right now they're way bigger focus and problem, staring us right in the face, and them worried about trying to go to a Rose Bowl.
But in the immediate aftermath of last season, the way last season ended and everything, did you guys feel like something big had to change?
I personally felt like a lot of stuff had to change. I don't know, how everyone else felt. You'd have to ask them, but I personally felt like changes had to be made and improvements had to be had. Otherwise, we're just going to end up 8-5 again. So I think we made a lot of those, and any concerns that I had from last year from an offensive perspective or even defensive perspective, I think we've addressed a lot of those, and we're looking forward to displaying those improvements on Saturday.
In addition to Shea, what have you seen from the other quarterbacks?
The other quarterbacks are definitely making strides too. I'd say most notably McCaffrey and Milton. Milton could throw the ball like 80 yards. I saw it pass to Buck West the other day. It was like 70, 75 yards. It was a pretty deep bomb. And he's got some strides to go, like mentally and stuff. But he's a great player. So there's going to be a lot of offensive production, I think, for the years to come from what I've seen.
Chase, pretend you're an analyst and give me a scouting report on your defense and what players jump out at you on Notre Dame's offense.
So you want
you to break down your defense and their offense basically.
I might be a little conservative with this one, but the thing about our defense is, we've been the same, the last couple of years as we are this year. There's not like a ton of surprises in that sense. We're a physical bunch. We like to run to the ball, and we like to hit people. So I'd say that's our scouting report of how I kind of view our defense, and it's going to be fun. And for Notre Dame, they got a lot of talent on that offense in general. They got 2 receivers that are 6'4", and their offensive line is a veteran group for the most part. I know they returned, their left tackle, Eichenberg is, first-year starter, and their right tackle, Hainsley, he played on a rotation basis last year. But their center, Sam Mustapher and Alex Barrs, like they returned some veteran players, and they're a physical bunch. They finish blocks, and that presents kind of a matchup in itself. It's like, we like to view ourselves as people that finish plays and run to the ball, but you see them, they're every play they're blocking to the whistle. And it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this matchup. It's going to be, for me personally, I think one of the best tests for our defensive line that we could have, if we had to scour the offensive lines in America and pick one game, it might have been Notre Dame.
What are you seeing on film from Wimbush so far?
From Wimbush, the thing about him is he's very, very mobile. He can, whenever he gets in the right lane opening, the man can scoot. He can fly. So it presents some challenges, just like some of the other stuff I mentioned earlier. But we like challenges. The challenges make football fun, and we like hitting quarterbacks too. So hopefully we get chances for that, and I'm interested to see how he matches up against us.
You know all about adjusting to position changes. What growth have you seen out of Zach Gentry in the last couple of years?
I tell you what, Zach Gentry had one heck of a camp. Coach Madison always jokes with us and at some points and says, wow, Zach Gentry, All-American here, because some of the stuff that he was able to do this year, kind of popped off, just almost out of nowhere. And so he's had a heck of a camp, and I'm excited for him. I love Zach, and I think he deserves to have a great season. I honestly think he will. I wouldn't just say that if I didn't believe that.
How hard is it to match up with him?
I don't really go against him that much,
I
so
know
that's
you
probably
don't,
why
but
I'm
yeah.
inflating him. But it provides it's something different because he's so tall. He's 6'7", 6'6", and he's all 255, 260. So it just is different, I guess. But I don't really go against him that much. So it's not that big of a challenge. I go against anybody.
It's an obvious mismatch.
So leverage is nice too. So people talk about height, but I'll take the leverage.
Every time you come on here, we ask you about every player on the team. We get a good scouting report,
Yeah.
which is cool. But how are you feeling going into this?
How
It's a
am I-
good year for you, of course.
yeah.
How has camp been for you?
Camp's been this is the best camp I've ever had, hands down. This is the, in terms of just remaining focused every day, getting better. It's the best camp I've ever had, staying healthy, and I felt like I made a lot of strides this camp, in this past month over pass rush and using the tools that Coach Herbert has provided me in the off season, and it's going to be fun. That's all I'm going to say about the season. It's going to be fun.
What goes through your? Can you kind of take us through what goes through your mind leading up to it? I mean, it's not just season opener; it's Notre Dame. It's a big game. I mean, what kind of goes through your mind in leading up to that? I mean, do you kind of just, is it tunnel vision? What do you do personally
What do I do personally to
prepare?
mentally try to
If
get
you're
ready?
at home relaxing, I mean, what do you do?
You got to find a balance. So for me, it's on one hand, I'll try to distract myself and get away from it for a sec, maybe just play some video games. But on the other hand, it's I'm in here when I'm in here, and I be as focused as I can be, watching film, getting treatment. So if you just do too much of one thing, it kind of, I feel like you kind of go through the motions where I like to just get in it, and almost tack it. So it's the same thing as any other game really for me though. So.
But is it really? Notre Dame's the same as every game.
It's not the same, but the process doesn't change. It's tough to describe. Like mentally, it's bigger and it's like such a huge stage, but like there's only so much you could really change. Like it's not like this week I'm gonna like go out and all of a sudden just like do stuff I didn't do. Like I don't know. I can't even think of examples. Like
Not gonna grow wings or something.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't do that anything that different. It's just I'm gonna go out and be myself during the week of practice and prepare and yeah.
How'd you feel about the captain selection that was announced yesterday?
That one stung a little bit, but at the end of the day, when you think about it, I came back to win a national championship. I didn't come back to win a popularity contest. So, it's on the board. That's all I'm going to say. It's my role as a leader is still the same. I woke up that day, was not the captain. I woke up the next day, was not the captain. So, end of the day, out of my hands, and I'm moving on. So.
Time for one or two more for Chase. If anyone has anything else.
Is there a chance even that this defense could be better than last year's defense?
There's definitely a chance. I mean, if we weren't better than we were last year, it would be, I think, a huge disappointment to everyone involved, and put it that way. So there's always a chance, right? So that's all I can say about that. We'll just have to see.
Is this confidence that you have in the offense, how much of that is hinged on Shea, on his presence here? Is he making
If
that
he
much
wasn't
of a
here, I'll put it this way: like if he wasn't here, our offense would still be better. Like just from an offensive line perspective, from the way our running back setup is, our wide receivers are better this year. Play calling, I think, will be better this year. So overall, our offense is better. But then you add in, Shea or whoever, and their elevated performance, then everyone goes up. So rising tide raises all ships.
Chase, thank you very much.
Thanks, Chase.